In the Netherlands, about a quarter of people will experience depression at some point in their lives. Among younger people, one of the main reasons is that they are afraid of or have no idea about their future. But how is this possible when the Netherlands is so prosperous? Nowadays we constructed the idea that if we are interested in welfaring everyone, the way to do that is to maximize individual freedom. The way to maximize freedom is to maximize choice. This is so deeply embedded that nobody really questions it. However, in research conducted by Publieke Omroep 2018, 46% of young people between the ages of 16 and 35 reported experiencing choice stress. This form of stress is seen as one of the factors that negatively affect mental and psychological well-being. This can eventually result in anticipatory anxiety, a burnout, or depression. This topic naturally involves larger life questions such as your studies or a job. When you are going to high school, we classify children into different categories at levels at age of 12. Then you are 12 and you hear that you cannot learn well, have mostly practical skills, and have to go to VMBO. This means that there is a distinction made between practical and cognitive for you. However, this distinction says nothing about your learning ability, your willingness, or which level you could accomplish. This is one of the touch points at which children experience pressure and are discouraged by the school system, which makes following life choice harder. After you have almost finished high school, you need to choose a study. If you have ever done any online research or taken a look at the keuzegids, you know that there are an awful lot of studies to choose from. At, for example, a HBO alone, there are already 1,129 studies. If you already know what direction you want to take, that makes a big difference. However, many young people have to choose at an age at which they are not yet able to foresee the consequences of those choices. In high school, there is too little time to optimally support all students in making a thorough study choice. Therefore, young people are presented with many exercises and tests. Often is only checked whether the exercises have been performed. Exactly how the exercises are completed is not important. That is why many young people have to choose at an age at which they do not have a clue of what they are good at. Here you actually see a lack of self-development. They only know that they perform well at a certain level. So you can conclude that we are taught to perform consistently from a young age. Therefore, it makes sense that 1 out of the 3 people in their 20s experience a burnout. There is actually a large group that feels left out of the current school system. The question, what do we want to become when we grow up, is a question where we try to identify ourselves with certain people in the field. However, there is a group that will never identify with one person. People who have always known that they wanted to be a doctor or wrote their first novel when they are 10 are the shining examples society presents to us. Even though many of us do not fit in this example. Have you ever heard of the term multipotential? Multipotentialities are generally bright and driven individuals who have a diverse skill set, many interests, and are driven by learning, and have a unique way of seeing the world. The one-size-fits-all approach is not going to work for them. When you are like this, you struggle with different things such as work, productivity, and your self-esteem. The issue while working is that the idea of doing something forever sounds like a nightmare to us. So we think we are going to deal with financial instability. This makes our future perspective even less secure. They were never taught the opportunities how to apply their qualities and skills in the adult world to be able to support themselves. Therefore, being multipotential can be accompanied by depression, anxiety, overwork, existential dilemmas, and the inability to choose or change directives. Not only the outdated school system and changing ability of people change our future perspective. Another reason it is difficult to get a grip on what you want with your future is because of technology. If we need to believe social media, we can accomplish literally everything, right? When we have a question or want to find out certain things, the first thing we do is grab our phone and search on the internet. Often we end up on social media channels of people who have achieved what we would like to achieve. But as we all know, on social media often only the beautiful and fun sides of our lives are shared. This creates a distorted picture of reality. You see what people have achieved, but not the road to it. The technology of social media can also trap us in a filter bubble. They register users' interest and use this as a revenue model by showing posts that seem to suit the user. Their inscrutable algorithms show you one-sided news and ads based on your previous searches. This filter bubble, also known as an information bubble, can give you a false picture of reality and even limit your view on what is happening in the world. When this happens, you will not encounter new possibilities. However, the next generation will grow up with this issue but are unaware of it. Even at schools, no attention is paid to this. In addition, if we look to the future, many of our jobs will be taken over by machines. We will not only face job losses, but also the creation of new jobs and new forms of work. Plus, cooperation between humans and machines will become more intense. Therefore, for many organizations and workers, it is unclear what their work will look like in the future due to technological advances. If we do know what the tasks will look like in the future, we can determine the extent to which these tasks match the competencies and motivation of workers in an organization. To answer the questions at the beginning, yes, having many choices and possibilities is a luxury problem. But yes, there is also more to it. Because of these developments, the systems need to develop too. If we continue to believe that the way to maximize freedom is to maximize choice, regulation and education are needed to prevent mental health issues. But how are we going to do that? We will not soon change the image of having the perfect life rooted in our history, or created by influencers. But what we can do is provide the right education at schools and through that respond to the needs of young people. We should no longer test young people on practical and cognitive learning abilities. However, we should start looking at their interests, what they are good at, and what they can develop better. This can be both practical and cognitive. As a result, people will better be able to develop themselves and get an understanding of who they are. But it is also necessary to look at what skills match their career path. For some, it is the confirmation of the skills needed for their dream job. For others, it will make their career path easier, because they can, for example, rule out certain studies. But even if you do not want to continue studying or want to start for yourself, there needs to be guidance on how to make sure you use your skills to support yourself. At HBO schools, they are already developing in this. However, it has to start from an early age, thus from elementary school already.